Hey guys, Puneet here from Coach. This is video number 21 of step 1 of the advanced chord series called as everything about 7 chords. In today's lesson I'm going to be teaching you everything about the minor 7 flat 5 chord, or also known as the half diminished chord. Just before we get into the lesson, I would like to request you to check out my other guitar lessons as well as the other lessons of this particular series. The links are there in the description below. Also, if you wish to support me and you think I'm doing a good job, please do check out my original music. Streaming and downloading it really helps me in a very big way in keeping these lessons available for free. The link to this is also provided in the description below. So let's start off first by learning the shapes of the minor 7 flat 5 chord. So we'll be doing this using the minor 7 chord shape as a template. So as the name suggests, minor 7 flat 5. So it's a minor 7th chord with a flattened 5th. And a quick recap of what we've learned in the previous videos is that this minor 7 flat 5 chord is the 7 chord when used diatonically in a major scale, and it's the 2 chord of a natural minor scale as well as a harmonic minor scale. In the melodic minor scale, there are 2 more options for the minor 7 flat 5. They are on the 6 and the 7 of the melodic minor scale. So these are F sharp and G sharp half diminished chords in the key of A minor. So for today we are just going to be looking at the options in the major scale, how to use the half diminished chords and how to play them. So learning the shapes first. The first minor 7 shape that we had learned was this one, right? So all we need to do is to flatten the 5th. Now what is the 5th of the A chord? That is the E note. So we have to play an E flat instead of the E note. So the E flat, the closest E flat that I have is here. This is the 4th fret of the 2nd string. So this shape becomes like this. To make it even easier, you can just play it like this with the thumb on the bass and muting the 5th string and the 1st string. Even in the previous shape, we have to mute the 5th and the 1st string. So this shape becomes really easy. You just have to hold an A minor shape here with the fingers on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th string, and you have to add the bass note here on top of this particular fret. So this is the first shape. Then the next shape that we had learned for the minor 7 was this D minor shape, which was like this, D minor 7. This is the root on the 5th string. The previous one was the root on the 6th string. So this is the shape on the 5th string root. So again, in the key of D minor, A note, which is here, is our 5th note. So if we flatten this, we have to play an A flat instead. So this shape becomes like this. Really simple to hold, and you don't have to play the 6th string and the 1st string. So just like this. Similarly, there's one more grip available to us, which is this particular A flat. So we can play it like this also. But this voicing is a little difficult to incorporate because of the note on the high E string. So it's not very commonly used, but still worth learning. So in the practice progressions, I won't be focusing on this one, but if you wish to learn it, by all means apply to the progressions that I'm going to be teaching you. So the root note is this one. So we have 2 shapes for the 5th string. One is this. This is again D minor 7 flat 5 or D half diminished chord. And then we have this one. Then the last shape that we have is with the root note on the 4th string. So this is the G minor 7 chord. This is the minor 7 shape that we had not worked on, but I taught you this. So this is basically a D minor shape, D minor 7 shape, which is carried forward. So this is the G minor 7 chord. Now in this chord, the D note is the 5th note. So flattening it will give us this note. So the chord becomes like this, and this can be very easily played with just a bar. So this is really easy to play and sounds really beautiful. So this is the chord. This is the G minor 7 flat 5. This has the root on the 4th string. So we have 4 shapes. The first one is this, which can be played like this or like this. Then and then the last one is this one. So applying this in actual progressions, as I said before, we are going to be working in the major key. We know that the 7th chord is the half diminished chord, which is diatonic to the parent, the 1 chord. So in the case of C major, the 7th, which is the B is the half diminished chord which you can use diatonically in the key of C major. So the first concept is that you can use this chord for the dominant 5 chord of that scale. So what this means is you can use a B half diminished in place of a G7 in the C major scale. And why can you do that? It's because look at the notes of the half diminished chords. It's B, D, F and A. Whereas in the G7 we have G, B, D and F. So there are 3 notes which are similar in the 2 chords. In fact, if you look at B, D, F, A, it's actually a 9th of the G7. You are adding a 9th note, which is the A note. I'll be teaching you that later, how to play the G9. But for now, just know that B half diminished or a B minor 7 flat 5 is basically a G9 without the G in the bass. It's just the rest of the 4 notes. So it can be very easily used as a substitute for the dominant chord. So in all the progressions where you have the 5 chord, so 1 4 5, 1 6 4 5, 1 6 2 5, 1 4 2 5, all these progressions you can replace the 5 chord with the minor 7 flat 5 chord, right? So it's gonna sound like this. So on the screen I will be writing the original progression, which is the 1 4, for example the 1 4 5, and I will be playing the B diminished 7 chord instead of the G7 in case of the C major scale. So I hope you will be able to understand this. So I hope you were able to appreciate how the B diminished 7 fit into these progressions, and it can make it really sound very jazzy. So I use this chord a lot, in fact, in a lot of the songs and the covers that I play. So I really love using this chord as a substitute for the dominant chord. So this is one application of the half diminished chord. The other very important application is that it replaces this B half diminished chord, can also replace a D minor chord. And why is that? Is you look at this shape, the D minor shape. This is the one with the root note on the 5th string. So this one, right? So we all know this shape. Now look at this particular shape of the B half diminished. This is the one with the root note on the 6th string. So this particular triad, these 3 notes, these are common to both the shapes, here and here. So there's only one note which is different. So here the root note is D, here the root note is B. So because they have so many notes in common, you can replace a B half diminished chord for a D minor chord. So in all the progressions that have the D minor chord, which is the 2 chord in the C major scale, you can play a B half diminished. So that will sound like this. So this was how to use the half diminished chord diatonically in a major scale. There are some non-diatonic uses also. So similar to this particular chord, this was the D minor. Similarly, even for the A minor, we will have a half diminished chord which has a similar triad here. So that chord will be here. This will be a F sharp half diminished. So because we have this shape we want, so this shape we have here, which is a A minor shape, as we all know. So now replace this with your F sharp note here, which is a F sharp half diminished chord. So that becomes like this. So in all the progressions in C major where you have the A minor chord, that is a 6th chord, you can play this chord instead. So applying this to 1-6-2-5, 3-6-2-5, it will sound like this. So that's it for this lesson. I hope you were able to follow along, and if you have any queries, please do feel free to ask me in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to reply. If you've understood everything, do move on to the next video.